Hello and welcome back once again to our YouTube channel Oracle DB Online Training. So in this tutorial, we are going to cover Oracle 19c RAC installation on Linux 9.4 version. This is going to be a step-by-step complete guide. So you can watch this video till the end to understand the complete process. This is an exclusive video as of on today's date, that is on 16th of August when I am recording this video. There is hardly any video available on YouTube platform to perform the Linux installation, especially on Linux 9.4 version. So Oracle RAC Database 19.24 version on Linux 9.4. This is what we are going to achieve in this tutorial. Before I proceed with this tutorial, I would like to request all of you, if you have not subscribed our YouTube channel, please do subscribe. You can take the benefit of membership program by clicking on the join button, and you can take the benefit of all our live training sessions video, which is available only for the members. With the minimum cost, you can basically enroll this facility and you can start learning from the scratch. Apart from this, if you are interested, you can also take the benefit of our recorded course from our website. The links are given in the description of this video. So you can always reach out to me on the given contact detail also for any queries. You can take the benefit of recorded courses, and you can register for our upcoming training programs. All the schedules you can get it from here. For any such queries, you can always reach out to the given contact details. So without wasting the too much of time, let's focus on today's agenda, like how the Oracle 19c RAC installation can be done on the Linux 9.4. To start with this tutorial, first of all, I'd like to explain what are the things that we are considering for this tutorial. So we will be requiring two different setups, which will have the Linux operating system 9.4 running on it. And we are going to conduct, we are having two servers which are considered the node 1 and node 2, and during the process I'm going to utilize the RAC VM machine where the Linux 9.4 version is already installed. For this purpose, I have created another video. You can watch that video and understand the process how you can do the installation from the scratch. Though the version 9. It was created for 9.3, it is same for 9.4 version as well. So you can visit this video. Links is given in the description of this video. Now to prepare with the installation process, what are the things that you'll require? You'll require the VirtualBox software running on the your Windows system or your laptop. You'll also require the mobile XTEM application to access the servers, Oracle Grid and RDBMS softwares. So links are given here. You can download the software from here. Oracle Linux 9.4 version, as I mentioned, we are going to utilize this operating system and the latest CVU versions. Along with this, we are going to use Oracle patches. I'll provide the patch details that you can use, and you can apply the patch also. So here is a high level step that we are going to perform. First is a hardware and software requirement, network requirements, storage requirements, configuration of users and permissions, configuration of operating system prerequisites. In this case, we are not using the DNS configuration, but still I'll be explaining how it works. And finally, you'll be doing the software installation. So overall, these are the high level steps that we are going to perform for this tutorial. Now to proceed with this, we already have two servers here. Both the servers are running with the 10 GB of RAM. 6 CPUs are already allocated. And in your cases, maybe you can go ahead with minimum 8 GB of RAM, and minimum 1 processors will be required. For this VMs, we have allocated around 150 GB of overall storage. But along with this storage, we also require the shared disk. So before I proceed with the installation of this, I will first log into the systems. I will show how this system has been built, and then we can proceed on this. Apart from this, there are 3 networks will be required. One will be used as a public network, the second will be used as a private network, and the last will be used for the bridge adapter. So bridge adapter's main functionality is that, let's say, whatever the network you are using in your laptop or system, the same can be accessed within the VM machine as well. So the third network mainly for internet accessibility, and the first two will be generally internal networks with public network and private network. The naming convention you have to remember exactly the same for both the system. If any deviation will there is no communication happens. So this is about the system readiness. So let's quickly log into one of these VM machines. So to take the access of the servers, I'll use the mobile XTM application. So as I mentioned in the documentation that we have two servers, one server's IP address is 45 and the other server's IP address is 1.55. So we are going to connect to both the servers as a root user. So you can verify the IP address from here also. We have the last network, which is basically working as a bridge adapter. So this one is our second network. This one is, as of now, it's not connecting because of some reason. Let me identify what is the problem here. So I think we can take the restart of these networks quickly and then we'll see. So this is our first server. This one is our second server. All right, so both the servers are available here. Now, so you can see the servers naming conventions are node 1 here. Then this is a second node, which is node 2. Now to proceed with the installation of RAC on the Linux 9.4 version, what we are going to do, first of all, I'll show how this servers looks like, then we can proceed on this. So if you run cat/etc, so we can see here it is running on the Oracle Linux server 9.4. So if you are working on Red Hat based operating system, the same process will be procedure will be required. Whatever I'm going to show you while you are performing the installation of RAC on this environment, it is also applicable for Red Hat based operating system. So there will be hardly any differences, but all the steps will remain as it is. So this current server is basically 9.4 version. Same we can verify on the second node also. This is also a 9.4 version. Now, important point that we need to understand here is the networking parts. So networking part, for the networking part, I have given these IP addresses. So if you look at the private IP address for first servers, which means node 1, I have allocated 192.168.10.1 series. Okay. And then for public IP address, I have given the IP address in the range of 1.6566 like that. So based on your networks, you can basically define these networks. In fact, the private and public networks both can be given any IP addresses. The only thing you have to remember, the public, virtual and scan, they should be always in the same IP segments like 192.168.1 series in this case. The private, as a name itself suggests, it has to be private. So whatever the IP you are allocating for first node, in the similar range, it has to be for second node as well. So for this purpose, we are going to use this particular IP address, which I already put it in the files. So we can do the double cross check by running the etc host command. So the private IP address for node 1 is this one. For second node, it is this one. And based on the same, I have done the configuration within the networking files. So if I enable these networks, this from the second node, it is on the first node. So on the first node, currently I'm trying to look at the first network, which is 1.65. So if I go here, this is a public IP address for node 1. If I go to the second node, it should be 1.66. So let's look at this IP address. It's 1.66. Same thing we have to do for public networks. So while you are defining the networks, make sure you are using this particular format 192.168.10.2. This is a private IP address for second node. Okay. Since it is a internal network, you can give blank the gateway. So this one is our second node private IP address. This is a second node public IP address. So if you want to access the public IP address, keep in the default gateway, default route of your networks, whatever the current network you are using, maybe a Wi-Fi or let's say particular network cards. So based on that, you can basically set the default route here. So this is about the networking related changes that you have to make on both the nodes. And if you want, you can do the ping commands against each of the servers. Like let's say you are on the first node and you can do the ping against second node. It should generally respond like this. So both public and private network should be reachable like this. From second node also it is reachable. So this is basically about the networking related changes. Now let's proceed with the actual step that we have to perform. So as I mentioned, there are like few Linux specific prerequisite we have to do. So one of the first prerequisite is installation of Oracle Database 19c pre-installation package. So this package we have to do the installation at the beginning. So first we'll install the pre-installation package. Let's copy this command from here and put it here. So this is on the node 1. It is unable to connect to the base this one because of some configuration related changes we have to make. So in the result.conf, make sure that there's a search should be local domain and the name server should be 8.8.8.8. So we will save this and then we can retry. So on the first node, we'll try to reinstall the package, 19c pre-installation package. So this time it should work without any issue. Yeah, so we need to run yum install -y Oracle Database 19c pre-installation package. So as soon as we execute the command, you'll find like within a few minutes, all the required packages will get installed on both the servers. So we have to do the same exercise on both the servers. So this is one of the major prerequisite parts that we have to follow before we can go with the actual installation. So once this is completed, then the next step in the process is yum install -Oracle ASM support library. So this package is not needed for 9.4 version Linux operating system because currently the Oracle ASM support library is not available till 16th of August when I'm preparing this video. So definitely in future there's another video I'm going to publish based on the Oracle ASM library, how we can do the RAC installation. But in this tutorial, we will not be using this particular option because libraries are not available. So we are going to use UDEV based configuration for Oracle ASM disk. So that is something we are going to proceed later. So this will be not required in our case. So once 19c pre-installation package is done, basically you'll find all the required prerequisite packages will be installed. And along with this, there is a user Oracle get created during the time of configuration. So it is already there done on the first node. Same is also completed on the second node. Along with this, we have to check kernel parameter changes by running the sysctl-p. So all the pre-required kernel parameter got set. The same we can verify on the first node also. So along with this, we have to also ensure Oracle user got created. So we already validated. Now we need to create other required groups. For example, we are going to require ASM admin, ASM DBA, ASM operational groups. So I'll just try to copy all these commands as it is on first and second node both. So there are few groups which is already created as a part of the installation package, like install DBA and operational groups. So those we can ignore as safely. Now, along with this, we need to also create the grid user because the DB Oracle user already got created. So using the user add command, we are going to add this user on both the servers. Now, once the user got created, make sure all the required groups are assigned to the Oracle user as well as grid users on both the servers. So ideally, we should create one server and then perform the cloning of other servers, which is as per in this document. You can use the same logic. So here we are going to run the set the password for Oracle user, and then same thing I am going to do on the other node also. So once the password for Oracle is set, then we are going to set the grid user password. Same thing we have to do on the second node as well. After completing this process step, then we have the next step, that is to add the limits.conf parameters. So I have already done this prerequisite. I'll just double check whether this is present in the file. So for Oracle user and grid users, there's a limit that we need to put in this particular file, which is known as limit.conf file. So in this file, we need to put all these values so that the users will be having a restricted resource access while we are going to install the Oracle database as well as a grid software on this server. So this part is already completed. Now the next step is to create the necessary directory structure. So we require the grid base location, grid home location, Oracle base location, Oracle home location, Ora inventory location, and one mount point for keeping the latest patches. So we are going to create both the structure on both the sides. After creating the required access, we need to give the required privileges as well as the permissions. So on both the servers, we are going to perform this operation. After this, the next step is to configure the bash profile. So for bash profile, basically we require to set Oracle bash profile on both grid and Oracle users. So using the VI editor, we are going to edit bash profile of grid user as well as Oracle user. So keep the default entry and put the new entry like this. So once we make the changes in the bash profile, we can cross check the details of the Oracle home. So this one is completed. Now the next step in the process is to check the Oracle user's bash. So we can exit from the grid user and log into the Oracle user. Now set the same similar bash profile in the for Oracle user as well. So if you are on the second node of this server, so you have to use just change the Oracle SID here. Like if you are setting the bash profile for Oracle user, you have to put everything as it is except for the Oracle SID. So Oracle SID on the second node will be like RAC DB2. So this is what we need to do for Oracle user, and for grid user we have to just put it like this. So for grid user it should be ASM2. That's only difference here, and the rest of the things are clear. Now both the servers are ready from basic prerequisites. IP addresses, everything is already in place because we have already checked the ping commands. Make sure we disable the firewall on both the servers. This is important for the communication purpose. And there's a next one is basically related to the cronid services and NTP services. So generally this is something which comes in production environment from the system administrator who manages the networking specific informations. So NTP's main funda is that the server timings on both the servers has to be exactly the same, and it should be get synchronized with the common network. So in this case, we almost have the similar timings. There is a small differences there. I think that should be fine. But in production environment, this has to be basically managed from the centralized networking time system. Otherwise, it will be a problem. Okay. So after this, we can move to the next step as per the documentation here. So here I mentioned like you can perform the cloning of the servers from node 1 to node 2 once you have done all the prerequisites and modify this information. So these steps are already completed, so no need to revisit this again. Our servers are already running as a node 1, node 2. So this is something completed. Now our next step is to create the ASM disk. Now to create the ASM disk, what is the next step we need to follow? We need to bring down both the servers and assign the shared storage. I'll bring down the servers by running the init0 command, and we have to go to the virtual media manager. So this is our VirtualBox setting that we can go to the tools option, click on virtual media manager. Here we have option to create the new disk. So while you are creating a new disk, so for this purpose we are requiring total 3 disks. So we will be using one for OCR, other for data, and the last for archive. So the first disk we need to create for OCR, and it has to be pre-allocated full size. So let's say we are creating a new disk with the name RAC VM underscore ASM1, and we can give the size of this disk to, let's say, 4 GB. So this one is created here, but its type should be shareable. So select shareable and click on apply. Same logic we have to do for another disk. Click on VSD, next. It has to be pre-allocated, next. And this time we are going to create another disk with, let's say, size of 15 GB, or maybe we can give it 20 GB here. Click on finish. Okay, so this is also done. We have to make it shareable. Click on shareable, click on apply. And there's another disk we need to create, that is for archive location. So click on pre-allocate size, full size. And this we will be creating another disk with name, let's say disk 3 ASM disk. The size of the disk will be 15 GB. Click on finish. Sorry, it should be 3. Once all the three disks are created, basically we have to attach to these nodes, node 1 and node 2, so that we can create the ASM disk from the these three disks. So this is the third disk that we have now. It has to be a shareable. So click on shareable and then apply. Again, I'll go back to the VM settings, click on the VM machines individually and go to the storage section where you will be attaching the new disk that we have created. So attach the first disk, then the second disk, then the third disk. So once it is done, click on OK. So you will find out there are three shareable disks attached to the node 1. The same thing we have to do for second node also. Now both the disks, both the servers are having the shared disk available here in the list. Now we can start both the servers together. So once the servers are back, we can basically again restart this putty sessions. Meanwhile, while the servers is starting, I would like to request all the viewers who are not subscribed so far, please do subscribe our YouTube channel. And for any documentation, you can always visit our website where you can purchase the document. So if you go to the recording and VM section, so there you can purchase our documentation, which is available at 2000 rupees. And if you're looking for a recorded course with advanced features, understanding of the concepts, you can go with recorded version of course that is available at 5000 rupees. Along with this, you can also take the benefit of VM machines, which are like a ready VM machines. You can just import in your system and you can go ahead. So if you're looking for any other additional information, reach out to the given contact details. So now with both the servers are up and running, let's connect to one by one. There's some network issue, I think. Let's identify what is the problem. Yeah, so sometimes there's a networking related issue, so we can just do like this. Should be fine. So now both the servers are available. We can proceed with the next step. So in the next step, what we are going to do, we need to create ASM disk, which is now available in the raw format. So if you want to list out all the disks that is available to the server, you can run lsblk commands. So as of now, we have one of the disk which is of around size of. So SDB is one of the disk that is available already, and its sizing is like this one. So SDA disk is basically currently pointing the 15 GB here. Okay. Then we have another disk SDC that is for 4 GB, and last disk is around 20 GB. That is the last one. Same thing we can do also on the second node by running lsblk command. So here on lsblk, when you run SDA1 is basically pointing to this one. SDB1 is pointing to 4 GB, 20 GB, and 5 GB. So why on the first node it shows like this? Let's verify it out quickly. This is 150 GB. Okay. So everything is looking fine here. So we can proceed with whatever the disks are available. We can go with that naming convention. So SDA is available here. We can format that disk. So first I'll try to format SDA disk like ST. So we need to create minimum one partition from the given disk. So in this case, it will be, now the next one will be SDC. Now, if you run lsblk, you will find minimum one partition will be attached to each of the disk. So this is one of the disk that we have. This is another disk. Then last one is another disk. So we'll start from the SDC1, which is used for our. So in this case, we are using the UDEV rules, because UDEV, in the UDEV rules, basically we need to first find out the SKI ID, and then using that ID we have to basically create one rules, so that whenever the server get reloaded, we have to proceed and do the the ASM should automatically pick up the ASM disk. So based on our disk naming convention, I have modified this names here: SDA, SDC, and SDD. So first we'll find out what is the SKI ID for SDA disk. So this is the SKI ID for SDA disk. Same we have to do for SDC, and last for SDD. Now using this IDs, we have to basically proceed and create one UDEV rules. Okay, so if I am creating one disk for OCR, so I need to give this naming convention here, which will be like a symbolic link. What will be the owner of this, that we need to define here, and we need to give the IDs here. So for example, I have selected SDC, which is around 4 GB. So I'll select and put it that information here, that will be used for OCR. Similarly, we have the another disk for SDA, which is for 15 GB, that is for archive. So I'll copy this and I'll put it here. Okay, and the last disk, that is SDD, which is around 20 GB, that we are going to use for data. So I'll put it here. Okay, so this is going to be my data disk group, data disk, and this is going to be archive. This one is a OCR. These are the permissions, and these are the permissions, and these are the ownership of the. So this is the file that we need to create for a UDEV role under the both the servers, and we have to put it like this. So there are like small spaces are there. Let me fix this problem. Okay, so I'll copy from here. It should be fine. Okay, so once it is done, then we will be saving this file on the first node, and after that we need to reload the roles. So once we reload the roles, we need to also run the trigger, and finally we can list out the disk. So now the disks are available here. So this is the first disk, the second disk, and the last disk. Now if you run ls-ld, now the permission of the disks are basically grid o install. This is SDA, SDC, SDB. Okay, so based on this, basically the configuration is completed. Now the same step we need to perform on the second node as well. So this is our second node. So here also we need to create the roles. So let's identify the this one SD. Sorry, we don't have to format this disk. So simply run the m command to come out of this. So we need to first find out the disk path. Okay, so before this you will run lsblk command. Okay, so now the disks are not available in this particular format. So let's take the restart of the server. Okay, because after the reboot, the server will be able to identify what are the disks and their headers status. So we have to quickly take a restart of the server so that everything get effectively here. So now we are connected to the node core. What we need to do here is to list out the disk, run the lsblk command and hit enter. So we can see like we have SDA disk here, SDB disk here, and then SDC, SDD. First of all, with all the disks already have the partitions. So we need to find out the ASCII ID here because the disk namings are automatically picked up like SDB, SDC, and SDD. So we need to follow the same structure. So let's copy this and to find out the ASCII disk. So I'll go and run this command. So here also we'll be able to create the one of the dev rule. But before creating the dev rule, let's copy all this disk here. So the first disk that we are looking at, SDB. So what is the size of SDB disk? Let's verify that. This is around 15 GB. That is for archive. SDC is for 4. That means it should be 4 GB. And the last one, SDD, that is for 20 GB. Okay. So 20 GB will go for our data. That means here. Okay. Now, if you are looking for B, that is B is basically pointing to 15 GB. That will go under the 15 GB category. That is this one. Okay. And the last one, that is SDC, that is going to be the first disk. So all the disks already have the rules exactly the same way. So let's copy entire information from here and put it in this UDEV rule. Finally, we'll save this file. After that, we need to reload the UDEV rule. So once we reload, we need to also run the trigger. And finally, after this, we can run the ls-lrth command to list out all the disks and their logical pointings. Now the disk having a proper permissions, that means we can proceed for the next step. So up to this, basically all the prerequisites are done. Now the next step in the process is to cd to the grid home location from first node as a login as a let's say login as a root user, and let's cd to the grid home path. So we need to unzip the software. So in this case, I need to use some different method because this file I need to copy here. Along with this, we need to also copy the latest patch set. So I need to modify the steps here. So this is our grid software that I'm copying to the grid home location. Okay, so this one is completed. Now the next step will be to copy the patch. So generally the patch I kept in the location media SF19c folder. So since we are going to apply 19.24 patch, so these patches are available here. So let's quickly copy the opatch utility that is required for patching the Oracle home during the time of installation. So where we need to copy this, we need to copy under the grid home location. Also parallelly, we'll copy this file to database home location, that is this location. Sorry, not this one, RDBMS home location. Along with this, we will also copy the database the latest patch set. So this is the 19.24 patch set, which is a GI release update patch. So we'll copy this particular patch and the OJVM patch. Where we'll copy this, we'll copy under the backup latest patch. Since we can copy all these files from the media as a root users, So if you are working on a production environment, so there you can basically copy it from other users as well if you already have permissions. But here in this case, we have to use the root user for accessibility purpose. That's why I connected as a root and copying all the files. So software and patch has to be copied only on one of the nodes. Automatically, it will reflect on second node once we do the installation. This one is completed. After this, we have to proceed to the next step, that is to copy the database software. So the database software has to be copied to the location DB home. So I'll copy DB home software into the database home location. Now, since we have made a lot of changes, I will recommend that we should go and rerun the permission related commands again so that everything will be back to the normal state. So that's where we have done the copy and paste. So we can rerun these commands so that the permissions ownership will be properly defined. It has to be done only on first node. Okay. Now we'll unzip the software. So I'll log in as a grid user. So first cd to Oracle home path. Since we are copying latest software, so unzip the latest grid software. Okay, so this one is done now. The next step will be to remove the opatch directory because the opatch which already contained in this, it's the old version. So if you want, you can always run opatch version command to verify it. So it's not required. So I'll remove the opatch utility, and the opatch utility which we have just copied, that is a file and starting with p68, that we have to unzip. Okay, once we unzip it, again when you run the opatch version command, you'll find that it is an up-to-date count. Okay, so let's remove the zip files which is no longer needed, otherwise it will get copied to the second node. Along with this, I'll cd to Oracle backup location where the patches are kept. So we need to unzip those patches also. So this is our GI release update patch which contains multiple sub patches. So once this patch get unzipped, then after that we have to proceed to the next step, that is to create the passwordless SSH configuration. So I will recommend that during the time of installation, we can proceed and do the passwordless SSH. So this step is we can ignore. In fact, there's a specific documentation using which you can manually configure the passwordless SSH between the two servers. So these steps we can follow, but my recommendation, let's go ahead with the software installation itself. So Cluffy is one of the utility that we can run before doing the installation as a prerequisite steps, which will provide you the list of fixes that we need to fix in order to proceed with the actual installation. So again, we can follow this document, patch ID, do the installation like this. So here for timing, I'll just go ahead and do the actual installation from this particular step. So this particular patch is unzipped. Now what is the next step we need to perform? We need to unzip the OJVM patch by running the unzip command against this particular file. Now both the zip files can be removed safely. It's not needed at all. Now after this, we will log in as Oracle user. So for performing the software installation, we are going to utilize this particular window where we'll be opening the xhost. First run the xhost command, xhost plus. What happened with this? Xhost command is not found. I think I typed the X command with capital letter, and that's why it was not worked. So log into the grid user, export the display. Since we are already on the server, so it should be like a display colon 0.0. The only reason I'm connected to the direct to the server is just for the graphical user interface that will appear a bigger one. Okay. Otherwise, we can take a new session here. Let's say we want to take a new session by, let's say, logging to the grid user 1.45. Okay. So once you connect to the grid users, you can cd to Oracle home location, which is the grid home location in this case, and then you can invoke the grid setup.sh. So that way also we can do the installation. But again, this is not needed here. We will perform within the within the installation of that one. So here the database software is already unzipped. Let's do the next step. Remove the latest existing Apache utility and unzip the latest Apache utility by running the unzip command. After this, we'll remove both the zip files from the DB home location because it is not needed at all. So software unzipping, everything is completed. I will log into the first server. There I'll cd to Oracle home location, cd Oracle underscore home. And from this, basically, so from this, what we will do, we'll run the installation command. So since we are running the 9.4 Linux version, so it is important that you run the export CV assume destination ID as Oracle Enterprise Linux 7.8 or maybe 8.4, 8.6 also you can try. It should work. Okay, so with this, we'll copy this command from here and put it here. So once you do that, after that, you can proceed with the next step, that is to execute the installation step, that is the grid setup.sh file. While you are running this command, you are also running the apply RU method. So with this, what will happen? The latest patch will get applied with the help of apply RU method. And this is the latest patch that will get applied. So while the patch is getting applied, I would like to request all my viewers, please do subscribe, because I found like 80% of the people have not subscribed so far to our YouTube channel. So please do subscribe our YouTube channel, and you can always take the benefit of membership program. There are already a lot of members have been enrolled this program, where you can get the member actually videos. For example, there are like complete learning track has been given, like session by session. You can follow the videos and you can learn about the training. Along with this, you can also take the benefit of our recorded courses. This is one of the best selling courses that you can purchase at the very minimal cost. Once you purchase this course, you will be getting a latest recorded sessions of our latest trainings, and then you'll be also getting a documentation. The complete information you can get by clicking on these links. If you are interested about the documentation related to this installation, you can always purchase our ready documentation from the websites. Links are already given in the video descriptions. So yeah, so let this patch complete, and then we can proceed with the actual installation on this one. So here we can see like the patch got successfully applied, and then after that the installer page is here that we can proceed with the installation. So we need to go with configure Oracle Grid infrastructure for new cluster here, and this time we are going ahead with the configure an Oracle standalone cluster. After that, you need to define the scan name. So you can follow the naming convention in the etc host file that we have. So this is what we are going to follow. Click on next. After that, we need to add the second node. So in this case, the second node will be node 2 dot node 2. dot node to dot local domain, and this will be node to dot hyphen VIP. So click on OK, and then finally you have to click on SSH connectivity. So give the password for grid user and click on setup. So once you click on OK, and then after that you can go to the next step. So here the passwordless SSH connectivity can be established within a few seconds without doing a lot of extra efforts. So just you have to pass on the grid user and its password, click on setup, it will take care of the rest of the things. Now it is verifying the server readiness. So based on the network that we have defined, these are the following IP addresses will be used. So 192.168.1.0 subnet is used for public. 10.0 sub will be used for ASM and private network. So we can go ahead with this network. We are going to use Flex ASM for storage. So click on next. It should be no. We are going to create one of the disk group name OCR. And here we are going to select the first disk, it will be SDC1. So click on next. Provide the password for sys user and ASM SNMP user, that is a monitoring user. And we will deselect this option, do not use intelligent platform. This is also okay. Here make sure everything is install group. Click on next. We can ignore this message. This is going to the grid base. This is going to the grid home location. Click on next. So a specific base location is not empty, so we can again proceed without any problem. This is the Aura inventory path, that should be fine. Click on next. So we will be putting the root password later. Though we can provide the root password here, but it is recommended that you should run the root script manually. So here there are a lot of expected errors or warnings messages will be appearing because we are not using the DNS based configuration. So one of the point that it can fail will be the DNS specific. The second one will be related to what we call NTP related, because we are not using any centralized network time protocol here. So those two are main major issues. Based on that, related errors are expected. So we just have to ignore and proceed with that point. That is the idea. So following warnings and errors are there, like we have few warnings messages that can be easily ignorable. And there are some failed messages are there. Again, this is NTP specific, DNS specific, resolve dot connect. So we can safely ignore all of them and proceed to the installation. So with this, we can click on install, and within a few minutes, we'll find the installation will be completed. So during the time of installation, there will be at one place it will ask you for root script execution from node 1 and node 2. So we have to be very ready with that step. Since we have ignored some of the prerequisites at the end of this installation, we might see the failed messages, but that is totally ignorable because we are already doing all the steps as per the required steps. So few of the steps we can easily ignore, and you can see there is a message like configure on local node, and then it will transfer the file to the remote node, and finally it will do the root script execution, which is the final step for the installation. No, almost it is finishing. So once it finishes, we have to run the root script. So that's why I already took the root access here. Again, I'm notifying if you are interested, any one of you are interested about the documentation, the document which I'm using right now for the installation. You can purchase this document by visiting our website. By paying a minimum cost of 2000 rupees, you can take the benefit of the document. In fact, you will be getting all the document, the existing or video related documentations. So as of today, there are like 75 plus documentations are already there. And then in future, if I'm making any new video, you'll still be having the access to the new documentation. So just a one-time purchase, and you can take the benefit of it. So we need to now run the root script. I'll copy the script and execute it here. As a root user on the node 1, I'll first run the script here. Now after that, I'll cd to node 2. So again, we have to do the same command execution. Let's copy everything from here. We are on the second node. I'll execute the second script. After that, we need to run the root script on the first node first, and then second node later. So on the first node, I will go. Sorry, I need to run this second script here. So let's copy this. Put it here. So it's a root.sh script that we need to run. So this script will take some time for completion because it goes through multiple phases. Once it gets completed on first node, then we are going to apply it on the second node. We need to run it on the second node like that. So here we can see like the node one script execution is almost finishing. So even though we can see that the disk group OSHARE got created without any problem. So once it is done with all the steps on node one, then we have to do the same exercise on node two as well. All right. So the script execution got completed successfully. At the bottom, we can see that message succeeded on node one. So let's log into the second node by SSS to the second node, provide the root user password. So right now we are on the second node. I will first copy the script again and we'll run it here. So you'll find that the second node root script execution will be slightly faster compared to the first node. So once all the steps on the second node is done, then we are good to go ahead with the OK message. So once it is done, then within a few seconds, you'll find that the grid software installation will be completed. And then we can proceed with the database software installation after this. So while watching this video, you might find that some of the steps are taking more time. So you can always use 1.5x watch option, like it will fast forward the video. So that you don't have to wait on one specific point for a very long time. Since this is a very detailed step-by-step guideline video, so that's why I'm capturing entire message or entire screen, I will say. So if you're already our YouTube viewer, you can find out lots of videos which is available on our YouTube channels. So if you are looking for our new upcoming training, so you can expect the new training is coming in the month of September. This is actually an announcement from my side. You can always look at our website for more information. There's a specific section where you can identify the upcoming batch details. So the last batch which was started is on 3rd of August. If you are still interested joining this batch, you can join this. The only thing we have completed so far is a Linux operating system in that batch. Regarding the course syllabus, you can always visit our website where the detail about the training program has been given. You can find out the complete information related to the syllabus in this particular section. Download the syllabus and then you can enroll for the course. So almost everything is completed on second node also. I think we can proceed with the OK message in next few seconds. So on node 2 also this process completed. You can see the message is successfully installed Oracle trace file. All right, so we can just double check what is the status as of now. So we are on the second node. We can run ps-ef pipe grep pmon. So ASM is running on the second node. And if you run ps-ef pipe grep pmon on the first node, Here also it is running. That means all the required steps are completed. Now only the post verification step will be done, for which we can wait for 2 minutes. And then there are some expected errors are there, that is related to Oracle cluster verification utility. That will be there because of some prerequisites that we have ignored related to the DNS and result.conf. That is one thing. Once this installation is completed, then we can proceed with the actual database software installation. So read this message at the bottom section, where you'll find out one of the failed messages, which indicates that something related to DNS related specific information is missing out. So as per Oracle's internal documentation, these steps can be clearly ignorable without any issue. So we can proceed with the next step with this. So this is the information that we have. You can click on OK and click on skip to proceed with the yes. Finally, the installation is completed. We can close this window and we can proceed with the next step. So as of now, the grid software installation is successfully completed. Now, along with this, we'll try to also create the remaining ASM disk by running the disk group, basically by running the ASM CA utility. So when we invoke the ASM CA utility, we need to go with disk group option. Right now we have OCR disk. We need to add one more disk group. Click on data. This group name will be data, and we need to select the 20 GB of the disk from the list. Click on OK. Similarly, we need to create another disk group that is going to be an archive disk group. So select this one and type archive here, and then click on OK. Sometimes the naming convention can be FRA also here. That should be fine. So based on the naming convention that you are following for your environments, you can select the naming conventions here. So all the disk groups are created. Now we can close this window. In fact, we can exit from this user and we can now log in with the Oracle users. Once you log in with Oracle users, you have to export the display. Remember, we are still on the first node. So export display equals to 0.0 because we are already on the server. CD to Oracle home path. So we need to use one of the option for installing the patch, because I'm going to apply the OGVM patch for a database also. So we are going to use the same option here. So let's cd to backup latest patch. Here you can run ls-lrth. So we have two different patches. The first, second, this particular patch is basically the OGVM patch. So we'll copy that patch name here, and we need to run this command for applying the, before we can go with the run installer command execution. This is the command for installing the database software. So here the first thing is like patch will get applied since we are applying both one of the patch and the main patch for database. So once everything get settled down, then the graphical user interface will appear for the installation. I believe there are some problems are there. I think it says unable to verify the graphical display. So we'll take care of this point later. Let the patch get applied successfully, then we can proceed on this. So here both the patches got applied successfully, but somehow the display is not working. So we can try something like this again by running the export display command. Oh, sorry, I think I missed this colon option. That's why it didn't work. So this time we don't have to apply the patch because the patch is already applied and in the Oracle home location. So we just have to run the run installer and the patch will automatically get applied. So this time we are going ahead with the setup software only option. Click on next. We are going ahead with the real application cluster here. So click on next. So this is the select node in addition for installation. I don't know why it's coming like this, but yeah, we can select only the first two nodes. That is something wrong information is coming here. We need to go with SSH connectivity, provide the root user password, click on setup. Seems like some error messages are coming, so we can try something here. Let me exit back. So let's take another new session. It looks like this session got messed up, so we can close this window. Take a new terminal, run xhost command, and log into Oracle user. Then run the export display 0.0 colon 0.0. Along with this, we need to also export the display, this one, CV assume a destination ID. So we need to run this one, CD2 Oracle home path, where the database software is there, and invoke the run installer. So click on setup software only and click on next. Real application cluster. So why it's saying like this error message? So the previous error that we received because of some permission related issues on direct folder. So we have given the full permission on this directory, and then after that we can proceed without any issue. So it says one or more selected nodes are currently in down state. Okay, let's verify this out. Oh, okay, we have to run the connectivity. That's the problem. So for SSH connectivity, we need to share the password, and then we can try with this. So at this junction, let's verify if any existing files are there. If it is there, we need to remove them. And so there are some files are already there. So let's remove this entire directory. And we can retry now. Let's go back one step and click on OK. Provide the root Oracle user password and hit on setup. Yes, so here the passwordless SSH is not working. So we can again try here. So since it is not working, we can try with manual passwordless SSH configuration. For this purpose, we have node 1 and node 2 access here, and we can follow the standard documentation. So this is the step that we can follow in order to perform the passwordless SSH configuration. So we'll log in and execute the commands like this. So it will generate the passwordless SSH keys here. So this is the node 1. And similarly, we can create DSA keys also here. So this is also done. After that, we have to run the cat command against the public keys and put it in the first option. Repeat the same steps like whatever we did on the second node also. So copy all the steps from here, put it here. Once the files is generated, generate the DSA keys also like this. Once it is done, then copy everything into the node 2 file. Now we have to exchange the file between the servers. Like if you are on the first node, we need to send it to the second node and vice versa. So one time we have to provide the password. Same thing we have to repeat from second node and exchange the authorized key. So once it is done, after that, we need to combine all the keys into the single file by running this query. Is on the second node on the first node. So once it is completed, after that we can run the SSH to the node 1, node 2, SSH to the self node. This is also working fine, and the reverse node, this is also working fine. So this way we can configure the passwordless SSH, and now it should work without any issue. Yeah, so it is working without any problem. So click on next and proceed with the installation of this software. So we have to go with Enterprise Edition and click on next, Oracle base, and this is the Oracle software location. Click on next. Everything has to be install group here. Just select install. root script we can execute later. Again, in the prerequisites, there are some errors are expected to have. So we can just safely ignore and move ahead with the next step. So these are the expected errors. We have to just select ignore all, click on next, do the installation. So once the software installation finishes, then after that we can move with database creation. That will be our final step for this installation. So meanwhile, this installation is in progress. I'd like to request all my viewers, if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe our YouTube channel. If you are interested about our membership program, you can take the benefit by clicking on the join button. Once you join it, you can have exclusive videos that is only created for members. Also, you can share our contents. Please do like our videos so that it can reach to the maximum Oracle database administrators. For any queries, you can always reach out to the given contact detail. If you're looking for any trainings, you can always reach out to the given contact numbers. All upcoming trainings session information is available on my website. Links are given in the description of this video. Please do follow and reach out to me in the given contact details for any information. So far, what we have done is we have done the grid software installation successfully, and then we also created the required ASM disk. Now we are doing the software installation for database, and after this, we are going to perform the actual database creation from the DBCA. So in this case, we are going to create a database with name RACDB. So the instance name on first node will be RACDB1, on instance 2. On node 2, it will be RACDB2, like that. The naming convention will be. Yeah, so the root script we have to run on both the nodes, node 1 and node 2. Let's copy this from here and open the roots session somewhere here, and then we can proceed. So once the root script executed successfully, click on OK and close this window. Now we need to do the verification. So run the SQL plus -v command. That is a quick way of verification. SSH to the node 2. And again, there also you can run SQL plus -v. In fact, we can also run opatch ls patches command to verify the patch list. So both the patches got applied successfully here on the second node. If you run opatch ls patches on the first node, here also we have the latest patch. So by looking at this, we are ready for database creation. So just execute DBCA command for database creation and click on next. So we are going to create a database with name RACDB. So we can go with advanced configuration step here. Click on next. So we'll create custom database, RAC database here. Select next. These are the two nodes where the database creation will take place. The name of the database will select RACDB. And this is non-container. So let's go ahead without anything here. The disk group name that we have created for database will be a data. This will be a non-OMF. So we will enable the archiving feature here. Select the archive disk group. Click on OK. I'll give the size of this table, this mount point to 10 GB. Click on OK. Next. Click on next. This should be fine. We will deselect these options from here. Click on next. So after this, we click on create database to the next step. Now it will perform the prerequisites. Definitely there will be some expected warnings. We can ignore them. And then we can proceed with the database creation on this server. So this is the final summary of the database creation that we are going to proceed. Click on finish. And within few minutes, you'll find the database will be ready and it will be available for both the instances. So based on our documentation, we are reached up to this particular point, that is the database creation. After this, we'll do the verification of the database, and finally we'll run this select statement just to verify the database availability. So this is how we have to do the database creation step by step, and this is a very detailed documentation as well as a detailed video that I've prepared so that you can learn how to create the RAC setup with the latest 19.24 version running on the Linux 9.4 version. I hope you have understood the process how this database creation works. So let the database get created and then we can finalize and close this option. So this database creation is still in progress. I think it will take another couple of minutes. Before we wind up this particular tutorial, I'd like to request all the viewers, please do subscribe our YouTube channel. Already we have uploaded a number of videos on this platform. If you're looking for any trainings, you can always reach out to our given contact details. You can visit our website for latest training batch specific information. For any one-to-one individual training or any work support related, you can always contact me on the given contact number. So here we can see like database creation is successfully done with this. And now we can close this window and we'll go back to our main page where we can do the verification. So we can see like PMON has all the details. Both the PMON services are running for ASM as well as the database. Now I'll quickly log into the database and run the DB command. So here DB file is not there. We can create the db.sql file and then we can quickly verify that information. So let me make it this a little bit formatted. Let's copy everything from here, put it in single file with the name db.sql. So at this point, we have two node RAC setups running as a 19.24 on Linux 9.4. So we have achieved what we have started with this session. So I hope you have understood the process, how to completely do the installation of RAC database on Linux 9.4 version, which is latest as of today. I hope you have understood the process. For any queries, you can always visit our website. For any documentation, please do visit our website. Please do subscribe our YouTube channel and please like and share this video to maximum people. And thanks for watching this. Have a wonderful day.